hello there, and welcome to Catherine's Garden and Home, where we grow together. In Catherine's Garden and Home, that's right. Grow together. Grow together. Grow, grow, grow together in Catherine's Garden and Home. And before I go any further, I want to introduce myself. My name is Catherine, and you're here at Catherine's Garden and Home. And my garden is an old English style urban garden in the city of Boston, in one of the neighborhoods of Boston in the United States of America. And we are zone 6. And right now, we are still experiencing the winter weather. It has been cold and breezy. The day before, most of the Northeast region here, they experienced snow and snowstorm, and we were threatened with one, but it didn't show up. And so now we are just getting a lot of windy weather, and the temperature has been in the the 20s, I would say. And so this is also Valentine's Day. So even before I go even more further into gardening and the topic at hand, which is the beginning of our growing season series and how to get ourselves excited for this new growing season of 2024 here in our gardens. I want to say happy Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. May you experience a beautiful time with your family and friends. Hopefully, you have received your chocolates and all of the other things, and maybe some flowers as well. And I just want to welcome you here at Catherine's Garden and Home, where we grow together. And today we have a guest. She's not really a guest, she's usually in the chat with us, Francesca, who's going to be sharing with us her beautiful um, discoveries that she has had over the winter season and the process that it took to get there. But the topic that I really want to look at today is vision, having vision for your garden. Because without a vision, you're not going to be able to be intentional about what you're doing. And so having a vision with the garden is essential, and that vision is in your head. It is there. You can see it. You can see where everything is going to be, and you have a sense of what you want to have in your garden. And when you have that vision is going to direct you and help you to get all of the necessary tools, resources, things that you need. You're going to see pictures of what you want. You're going to say, oh, look at that. It's right there. You're going to walk into Home Depot or Lowe's or some big box store, and what you are thinking about and what you thought you needed is going to just be right there because you are going to be aware of it. It's right before your face. It is intentional. And so I welcome all of you that are coming in. Welcome. Hi, J3GS Farm. Hello, Catherine Garden and Chat. My hands are busy. I'm just listening. And happy Valentine's Day to all. To all, happy Valentine's Day to you as well. Thank you so much for coming and joining us here at Catherine's Garden and Home coming together. I am a little early, so some of them, others are probably just getting themselves together. So it's so good to have your company. Thank you for coming on and joining me in the chat so that I'm not just talking to myself on this beautiful Wednesday evening on Valentine's Day, and so that you are my company. Thank you so much. And what I want us to do is to start to think about what we want to do in our gardens. And this month, we've called this month Fruitful February. Why? Because we've already started to envision that we're going to have a really fantastic year, and it's going to be a fruitful year. I don't know if you were with me last week. We talked about having a favorable garden, and that was such a good conversation last week about having a garden that we are content with, that we're happy with, and that it is a favorable garden. Hello, Sonia. How are you? So good to have you come in. As usual, you're so faithful. It's so good to have you here with us. And yeah, so this week we're talking about having a fruitful February and declaring already in our gardens that it's going to be a great success, that it's going to be fruitful. But the only way that we can make sure that that really happens is to decide that we're going to put in the effort to make it happen. But first, without, I don't know if you're a spiritual person or not, but it says, without a vision, the people perish. Well, I am saying, without a vision, your garden will perish. So it's good to have a vision of what you want your garden to be like. And if you have gotten a copy of my journal, my Joy Filled Vision, the Intentional Garden Journal for 2024, that is part of the title. It says, My Joy Filled Vision. Your vision should help to stimulate and get you going so that you can do whatever it is that you have to do, the hard work, the hard parts of gardening with great joy. And so those of you who've gotten your journal, now is the time to open it up and really start to think about. And I've given you some pictures to get you going with. Um, and we also started to look at it in the beginning here. And notice that I dedicated the journal to you all, my gardening friends. To my gardening friends who embrace the joy of gardening. Grow, 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 grow together. And I wrote, thank you. And I gave acknowledgments, of course, too. But the introduction is that each year gives an opportunity to design a new garden and grow again. And if you didn't grow before, it's a new time to think about it, to think about this process. Right now, it is critical that everyone grows something and learn how to grow. And I have a very special guest here with me, Francesca, who's going to be sharing her growing during the winter, how she did the process. She started thinking about growing. She had gardening on her mind, even in the winter months of Minnesota, where it's cold and blustery. Oh, at least it was. And she was able to grow. And so she's going to share that with us in a little while as people are coming on. Francesca will be coming up. And Yankee Sister, how are you? Thanks for coming on today. I have truly been using mine, she says. Woohoo, Francesca. Yeah, and Betty Johnson, hi everyone. Happy Valentine's Day to you all. It is so good to be with you all today. I couldn't just leave you all hanging. I had to say, oh, yes, I'm going to come on and be with you all today. I also want you to see my arrow garden here too. We're going to talk about that in this process as well. A way of growing in the home and getting yourself stirred up to grow, to grow. All right, now I'm going to add Francesca here. And yay, Francesca's coming on. There she is. Hi, Francesca.
Good
Uh,
afternoon.
yes, good afternoon to you too. So good to have you. It's amazing because around this time before, it was pitch black outside, pitch dark. But now we could start to see the seasons changing. It's getting lighter out, and it's 5:30, and there's still a little bit of light. There's the dusk is disappearing. However, soon we will be having a lot of light. I'll be outside in the garden. But thank you so much for joining me in my dining room area and coming to join us here. It's so good. Yeah, so happy Valentine's Day to you, Francesca. And
Yes, happy Valentine's Day to you as well.
yes, you are my Valentine for right now, okay?
Well, I'm honored. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, I just want to just thank you and Yankee Sister this morning. I was so blessed by your presentation. It was just, you all did such a fantastic job. I just have to comment. It just kept me full of joy throughout the day. I just felt so happy and so blessed, and knowing that we have people that when you're feeling down or blue or you're feeling discouraged, that you can find a group of people who will encourage you with words that are encouraging, with purpose. So I'm really, really glad for that. um, yeah. So I was introducing my book, my gardening journal, and hopefully others have a gardening journal as well. And also, I want you all to check if you are part of my growing community and you've subscribed to Catherine's Garden and Home. You should have gotten an email. So I've sent out 2 emails. I'm doing well for February. 2 emails. And those emails are very important because they give you information, they give you starting tips as to what you can do and how you can get started in your garden. Because we're starting a new gardening series called, I can't even remember my own series. It slips my mind. For gardening series for this time.
Being
Growing,
intentional.
huh?
Being intentional in the garden.
Yes, being intentional. But I gave a special name to the series. It's on the let me look. It's in the title of our for. It's so new that um it doesn't come to mind right away. But anyway, um let me see. Um I don't see it here. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, yeah. So it's very nice to have this series, because what I want us to do is to be able to trace or track our progress and our planning from the beginning, from February all the way through to the end of the growing season. And a lot of you have come with me on the gardening reviews that I've been doing, my gardening reviews for 2023, where the premieres. And I want
Mm.
to say thank you, Francesca. You've been loyal and on the premieres with me as we observe the garden. Sonia and Yankee Sister. Some of the others have been coming. Monica, I don't see Monica out there today in the chat, but yes, and it was, you received both emails. That's good, Sonia. Yes. So comment on them, click on them, and the one that I sent out today. If you have not watched the garden reviews for 2023, the premieres, watch them because they will inspire you. They're lengthy. So in the evenings when you're trying to relax and you want to get your mind off of the world news, put that on and you could relax for a whole hour. I think a lot of them run for an hour or a little bit more. And you'll get to relax and start to think of some positive, wonderful things. Loving Tawana. See, I never received my email. Well, Loving Tawana C, have you gone to my website? If you have not received the email, what you can do is go to my website, Catherine's Garden home LWS .weebly.com, and there you will be able to connect with me and send me a contact me. Go to contact me, and there, um, give me your information. Just that you want to receive the emails, and your email address, and I will add you to the email list. Yes, I will, because I'm planning to send at least one email a month, if not two, and hopefully I can be loyal and good and consistent with it. But that is my intention, to help us, to keep us motivated. And in that email, you're going to get a lot of good tips on what to do. I know you're waiting patiently. I was trying to wait until more people come on, Francesca, because I want them to really see your beautiful plants there, and to see your tomato plants. I know you are so excited. So, um,
Oh, it's
yeah.
been a fruitful February for sure.
Yes, and so I was thinking about you, and I said I'm going to name this, also fruitful February, and let everyone know that that is our intention. That's what we envision. That's what we see. Fruitfulness. We see that with our spirits, but also you are manifesting it there in your house with your tomato plant, and that you moved from. I did put, by the way, for those of you who are watching and those who watch the replay, you can go to the community page, and there she shows you. She sent some of the pictures of the seeds, and also the beginning, the flowering of the tomato plant. So yeah, well, tell us a little bit about, introduce yourself. Tell us about yourself, Francesca, for those who don't know you. And you could tell them about your farm and how you got started with farming, um, starting your gardening and so forth. And just give us a little background info on Francesca. Welcome.
Well, I'm Francesca, and I'm from the big state of Minnesota. And so for me to be growing and think of anything in the garden, it seems kind of foolish at this time of the year. But I'm like, I'm going to try it and see what happens. And because it was kind of like one of them things. I'm like, I'm going to try growing more of my own and saving seeds. And instead of buying seeds, I'm going to take my own that from my garden and just try to preserve them so I can produce things. And by God's help, things have been blossoming and doing imaginably well. My
Mhm.
husband is a magnificent help as well because he pollinates them. He sits there with his little electric toothbrush and pollinates all my flowers for me. And so I got a busy bee, plus I got my green thumb. So we're doing
Yeah.
good,
So this has become
and
a family project, huh?
it has, and it's just a delight. I have to share them with you because here's some of the fruit right now,
Oh,
as you all can
wow.
see. I have three there, and then you know I have another couple here that are starting. Right. Let's see if I can find it right there.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I have a lot of fruit that's coming on, and
Hmm.
they're indeterminate, so they just keep growing and growing and growing. But
Wow.
it's such a delight. It really truly is. You
Hmm.
know. And
So how
now
many
my next,
plants do you have?
I only have three.
Wow.
Yeah.
They look like a whole lot. It looks like you have at least six there.
Well, let's see. What I got to end up doing is I'm going to end up having to cut these suckers off and replant them, so I
Uh-huh.
can get more fruit because I got a lot of them that are just shooting off and yeah, deciding that they think they need to come growing too. So I'm like, well, if they're going to grow, I'm going to plant them. I'm going to cut
Yeah.
them off and plant them.
So how are you
'Cause-
going to plant them? Because they're part of the stem already.
right. So I cut them off and then I dip them in some root accelerator powder. And then when I do that, then I wait till I see some roots coming. And once
Uh-huh.
I see some roots coming, then I go ahead and plant them in the dirt. But I put the root powder on them and then put them in water for a while, like I said, until I see them first roots.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows what's going to happen? I'm pretty excited because I got a head start here in February in Minnesota, and it's
Yes.
amazing.
Yes.
My mint, this is my mint.
Mm-hmm.
I've started some mint, and
Mm-hmm.
then I transplanted one that started coming too. So I got a pot there I'm working on. I mean, I'm a big fan of mint tea, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm experimenting and see what I can come up with that.
Oh,
But
that's
it's
good. So you just with the tomatoes, because you showed me the seeds. How did you get
yeah.
to seeds? How did that start? How did it start from the beginning? Hey, Darlene, how are you, Darlene? Darlene is there.
Well, what I did is I actually took a tomato that I had grown in my garden, a Amish paste tomato, which
Mm-hmm.
makes the best, meatiest sauce ever. And I cut it and I took out, there wasn't very many seeds in them, but there wasn't a few. And so the few seeds that I did get out, I put them on a paper plate and I let them sit there for a while, like 2 days, 3 days. And after they fermented, then I sat there and then I put them in water for a while just to, kind of clean them off a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And after I cleaned them off, I put them back on the plate to dry. And
Mm-hmm.
once they're dry, that's the picture you see of them drying. And some
Mm-hmm.
of them were starting to sprout. I don't know, you might have to look closely at the picture, but
Yeah.
some of them were starting to sprout.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, well, if they're sprouting already, I got to get them in the ground. They're just begging me. They're like, come on, plant me, plant me. So I said, all right, you're going in the ground. I grabbed
Yeah.
some soil from my garden and I
Uh-huh.
put it in 5-gallon buckets so that it would warm up. And
Mm-hmm.
after I did that, then I put them, like I said, started putting them in actually just little tiny little pots I started with. And
Mm-hmm.
then from there, I ended up putting them in ice cream buckets because they were outgrowing my little pots fast.
Mm-hmm.
And so then after I did that, they've been taken off now since, and it's a light, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited because, like I said, in Minnesota we normally have like lots and lots of snow, and
Yes.
so for not to have much snow this year, it's just like, well, this has been an interesting year for us here in Minnesota, and so I might as
Mm-hmm.
well start thinking about my garden. And I told my husband I can't wait because I want to get in there and start tilling. And he's like, oh no, because it's so
Well,
early, but I'm just so excited because
yeah.
it's just such a wonderful time to see the fruit that the work of our labor going to use.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's just a fascinating thing, that just like a child, you love and you nurture and you care for it, just as
Mm-hmm.
you would these plants, and they become a part of me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And so
because you
it's
watch them and then they're producing for you too.
mm-hmm,
They're
mm-hmm.
actually starting to fruit, and you can see the process as well. And how are your children feeling about it?
Oh, they're excited. They
Hmm.
can't wait to eat that fresh tomato. They're just like, just having that besides the store is going to be so much better
Oh,
because of the
definitely.
effort that we put into it.
Yes, yes, yes,
On the bed and
yes.
not raining. Okay. And so he's telling me my pizza dough ain't raising, but it is. It's hiding under its cloth. So,
Oh, yeah.
but
So you
it's
have you that would be good. You will have the tomato sauce. You can make a little
yep,
sauce with it, and with your dough that you're making, with
you're
your
right.
bread, you can make your pizza dough bread.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be nice. Fresh pizza from with
Yep.
fresh dough. That's
Yep, and that's
good.
all I do is everything. 99% of my stuff is homemade or from scratch, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't follow a certain recipe or a rhyme or reason. It's just kind of like a little bit of this and a little
A
bit
little
of
bit.
that, and pray that it turns out and that it's going to be pleasing to everybody's palate. If not, well, then I
Hmm.
know it's not, that recipe is not for the books. That one
Yeah.
has to be thrown out. And
Yeah.
the other thing I
And
would
then
like to share, I don't know if
mhm.
anyone got to see this before, is my
Yeah.
lettuce.
Okay, good. Hmm.
That was the other
Yes.
thing I
So
started.
how did you start the lettuce?
This is actually from them things you get in the store, the romaine.
Uh-huh.
I cut the core off, and then I put it in water. It's my own hydroponic way of growing, you
Yes.
know. And
Hmm.
now I got to get root accelerator on these so that I can put them in the dirt as well, and then I can harvest now lettuce as well.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
you
That's
know, and it's
beautiful.
it's
Yeah,
so
and
much
so
fun to
that's
see.
really good that you are able to think in and envision your garden so well that now you're going to be able to take it from garden to table. And
Amen.
that's what I put for the premiere. We've been doing the premieres and
Mm-hmm.
of the garden. And last year, that was one of my goals, was to really make sure that I'm utilizing the food that I'm making. You know, that I'm producing. That I'm not just producing all of this food, which I have a lot
Right.
of pumpkins, but
I still have a
actually,
lot of
sorry.
pumpkins from the seeds that you gave me a few years ago. You know,
Uh-huh.
I still got many of them, you know.
Yes, I
And,
know.
and they still are good. So I'm like,
They
I
are
saved the
good.
seeds. They're in my pumpkins yet.
Yes, yes.
You know,
Those
and
pumpkins are very good. I have my pumpkin. I have a whole box full in another area, and they have not spoiled. They taste
yeah.
delicious. My husband would make soup. He'll go and he'll put it in, and
Mm.
it has such a nice. The particular ones that he picks has such a nice buttery taste to them.
Oh, sure.
It has a nice texture, you know, and then it
Hmm.
softens up really well, making
Yep.
adding like thickness to the soup, making it
Oh,
really
sure.
really good.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
There
Well,
was
they
a
all
point.
the kids know these as Catherine's pumpkins too, because whenever we have them, they're like, "That's Catherine's pumpkin." I'm like, "Yes, it is. We gotta treasure these beauties." They
Well,
come all the way from Boston, so they're a prized heirloom in our house.
yes, yes, they are. Yes, they are. Um, but you know, I was listening to one of the YouTubers on, and he was talking about his garden and starting a garden from scratch. That's what he called it, and he was saying that he started to save his seeds also, and he was describing
Hmm.
how there was this article from a particular university, and they were talking about the old ways of farming and how they would dig up the dirt, and it's not, you know, they would use pesticides and other chemicals and so forth, and say
Hmm.
that the backyard gardeners, they should stop gardening. And I'm like, what? I see, he was saying no. He was saying that this was coming from the universities. Of course, you know, that was big pharma and the big companies wanting to discourage people from gardening, because the gardening has multiplied. People are trying to find ways to grow their own food since 2020, with the pandemic coming on. That the
Hmm.
pandemic caused everyone to have to stay home, and what did they all decide to do as a national
Yeah.
pastime? Garden.
Yeah.
And then gardening has been so therapeutic. And we find that gardening is also something that brings in the family. Everyone else is able to, like how you said, your husband, the children, everyone now gets to participate in the process and enjoy the garden.
Hmm.
And so,
It's a team effort for sure.
yeah, it is a
You know,
team.
everybody has their certain part. You know, when we do the sauce, like the pasta sauce, you
Uh-huh,
know, there's always who's going to run. I have a old, it's called I believe it's a Johnny Appleseed sauce maker.
uh,
And so, you know, they get to, whoever gets to come and help, you know, who's going to run the crank to juice the tomatoes and the vegetables that I put in the sauce.
uh-huh,
You know, there's always but something for everybody to do in the family as far
uh-huh,
as with the garden, whether it's planting, weeding, you know, just gathering the harvest. You know,
uh-huh,
each one of my kids have a certain row that is their row, and they have to be diligent about, hey, okay, this is my row. I need to make sure it's watered. I need to make sure it's weeded, which
uh-huh,
watering ain't such an issue because we use drip line irrigation here.
uh-huh,
And the water we get is the water that runs off of our barn and into our milk tank. And
uh-huh,
then from the rain. And so then our plants get rainwater. And when it doesn't rain, we have to use well water. But
uh-huh,
99% of the time we're pretty fortunate. We'll get a little rain here and there, and
uh-huh.
that really helps them plants just thrive, not just
Oh,
survive, but
yes.
thrive, you know?
Right, yeah. They love the natural rainwater.
Hmm.
Yeah.
They
Now,
do.
if you, those that are in the chat, if you have any questions for Francesca concerning growing tomato plants, please put it in the chat, and we will try to have her answer them for you. And we say hello also to Deborah. Hi, Deborah. Good afternoon. You're on. Yes, you are. And Darlene is there. Darlene says, when you ferment the seeds, did you do that in a jar or on the paper towel? I think she
I
missed
did it actually on a paper plate.
a paper plate.
Because I thought if I did it on paper towel, they would get stuck on there and I wouldn't be able to get them off without ruining the seed. So I did them on a paper plate, and that way they would kind of come off a little bit easier, you
Mm.
know.
Hmm. Yeah, good question. Good question. Lettuce looks really good, says Gardens Army. Hi, Bev. How are you? Good afternoon. I'm on. Wow, how nice. So blessed says those are beautiful. Hello, so blessed. Thank you for coming and joining us here at Catherine's Garden and Home with Francesca. Darlene Brown, yeah, the lettuce looks great. Hello, Deborah, says Sonia. Darlene. Oh, Yankee Sister says, do you put them in a jar of water and let them sit?
For the tomato seeds, I
Tomato
do, yes.
seeds.
Yep,
Yes.
you do
So,
that for a few days, and then after, like, not 2 days, I think it is,
mhm.
then you put them on that paper plate.
Oh, okay.
And then now I actually, the ones that I haven't planted, I got a little envelope of the seeds that I can now plant in my garden this spring come, you know. Although I think I might I might have plenty that I started already, so I probably have seed palooza going on here, you know, but it's
You
gonna
could,
be great.
well, you could share with the rest of us. You could send us your
Yeah.
seeds. So
Well, they're
let
all
me.
organic too, because I don't use chemical in my garden. I only
Uh-huh.
use all natural things, you know, the fertilizer is from my animals and the
Hmm.
stuff that I dust when I have like, I want to like not rodents necessarily because I don't necessarily deal with them, but like insects and other bugs that
Hmm.
are eating on them. I
Hmm.
don't like to use a lot of that stuff. So what I use is a thing called diatomaceous earth food grade, and I
Hmm.
can get that pretty reasonable at a local farm and feed store here. And then I can dust my plants with that because that stuff is such a natural thing, and not only it helps the plants, but it also, you know, it will kill that bug
Uh-huh.
because it'll break its exoskeleton down, but it'll also put so much more into that soil that it's missing too. You know, I
Uh-huh.
use that diatomaceous earth on my chickens, you
Okay.
know, and help them. So I mean, it's just one of them things that I really, like I said, find great joy in, and knowing I
Hmm.
can put something forth that's going to not only be good for me, but for my family and maybe people who ever come into my home as well, that they're not ingesting some bioengineered, chemically altered food. You know, it's
Yes.
God altered, I guess, if you would want to call it that, because He's the
Yeah,
one that's
yeah.
doing all the changing.
Yes, that's what that is what the YouTuber was saying, and he was saying
Hmm.
that we, instead of being discouraged about gardening, that we need to pursue it. And so that's one of the reasons why I was saying to have a vision, and you are really
Hmm.
speaking to your vision. Now you have purpose for gardening. That's why
Yeah.
now you have the joy of gardening. You're ready to go out there and garden. It's not like, oh, what am I going to do? How am I going to get started? Instead, now you're already seeing your vision of what you expect, and you expect to have a luscious, fruitful garden because you've already called it fruitful February because of your
Hmm.
tomatoes. You already see the vision, and vision
Hmm.
gives you purpose, gives you energy, gives you passion. Now you have the passion to go ahead and do the gardening. And when the hard times, the hard parts come of the digging and the, the waiting and the watering and all of the
Hmm.
other processes come, it doesn't matter. It's almost like being pregnant. You go through this whole process of having this, being pregnant and so forth, and it could be painful at times. But when you think of the end product, the fact that you're going to produce this child, you're willing to
Mhm.
go through the process. It's almost the same thing with our loving tomato plants that
Yes.
your little babies that you're
Okay.
caring
Okay.
for and so forth.
Yeah, and it's comical too because, like, I transplanted last year. I had 6 zucchini plants. My son had started, and there was some that grew in a spot where I didn't want them to grow, that were volunteers from last year, and I moved them to a different area. And I watered them and I tended to them and I cared for them. And I thought, if you make it, great. If you don't, that's fine too, because I got 6 other plants. Wouldn't you know, all 9 of them made it. So I had over 15 zucchini plants in
Oh
my
my
garden.
goodness.
Zucchini coming out of my ears. So it's like, everybody lock your doors. Francesca's coming. Watch out. You never know what you're going to find in your car because, oh, I had so much.
Did they
But
grow? Did they grow like the Bam Bams? Did they grow?
oh, they were quite clubs, let me tell you, because yeah, it was just so many. But I've learned so many different recipes and things to use with them that it's like
Yes, good.
now I freeze a lot of it and I
Mm-hmm.
use it in my pasta sauce as well. So I mean,
Yes.
I'm finding other alternatives to deal with my oversupply. And when I do get enough for my family put away, I end up giving away to certain people, whoever come in my yard and want to
Mm-hmm.
visit or whatever, get eggs because I do sell eggs for my
Mm-hmm.
chickens. And so I'm like, hey, by the way, would you like a zucchini with you? And there you go. You got your breakfast, your lunch, and your supper all ready for you. So,
All in one. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
any way I
Some.
can bless people with the produce, it makes
Mhm.
me happy because then I'm doing my part in making sure that no one goes hungry, you
Yes.
know? And
Mhm.
that's what God has been speaking to my life about
Mhm.
is feeding the people, not just
Mm.
spiritually, which is very, very important, as we all know,
Mhm.
but also physically feeding them, giving
Mhm.
them a packet of seeds, giving them a plant, and saying,
Mhm.
here you go, and now they can bring that meal to their table and
Mm.
share that with their family, their friends, their neighbors,
Mhm.
whomever. And then
Mhm.
it just brings that joy back into the home where it needs to be,
Mhm.
and then it can, like I said, spread elsewhere, which is really cool for me. I love knowing that people are planting those seeds.
Yes, very, very good. Yes, that is exciting, and that's the whole cycle. It's a cycle,
Mm-hmm.
where you are given the seeds. However you got the seeds, and now you are planting the seeds. You're actually going through the process of planting it. You're not just saying, "Oh, I got seeds," and putting them away and not utilizing, but you're utilizing them. You're actually planting them, putting them in
Mm-hmm.
the ground. They are now producing for you. Now you have your you're multiplying them because now they started to multiply. There's such an abundance. The increase is
Mm-hmm.
so great that you end up
Yeah.
having to share it with others. But then also, I love the fact too that you are using it in your cooking. And I want to invite all of you to my final of the garden reviews, I think. But I started thinking about this. I said last year, that was a big point that I wanted to do, is that yes, now you have all this produce. But are you really eating them? And that's the thing, because the processed foods are so tempting. It's so tempting to go back to the old way of eating, where now God
Mm-hmm.
has provided you, you've produced, you've worked hard, you have all of this good food, that we need to consume them and make sure that our
Mm-hmm.
families get to taste it and to make it in a delicious way. And so I produced my final garden review for 2023, and this is garden to table. And I, of course, have been calling it Cook With Me. So when you were describing your cooking method, I said, well, that's my cooking method too. And you'll see that how soothing is it. Isn't that such a soothing process? What I usually
Mm-hmm.
do when I start to cook, I just put on someone a sermon, or maybe some
Mm-hmm.
teaching or something, and I just let it go and just listen to
Yeah.
it while I'm cooking, and it's like a meditation, don't you think?
Yeah.
As you
Oh,
prepare the
absolutely.
food, and you start thinking
Mm-hmm.
about, well, who would like what, and you it's like
Yeah.
it's very it's maternal. It's very caring. There's something about the cooking. And the reason why I
Yeah.
can say that, because while I was working as a principal and a teacher, I really didn't have time to cook and to really think about cooking. Cooking was more or less a chore versus a
Mhm.
blessing. You want to answer? Is he okay?
No, he wants to take my cover off my pizza dough. It's like, no, keep it covered, keep it covered. He's antsy to roll it on out and put the sauce on, you know.
Yeah, he's ready for some pizza. I don't
Yeah.
blame him one bit. But anyway, that whole process of cooking, it became like a meditation for me, and as I cared
Mhm.
for my family. And I that's what I sense with you as well, that it's become something like that. The cooking
Yeah.
process, the next step.
Yeah, it's a passion, you know. And this year I did something different. I'm learning different things, different ways of doing and of vegetables and stuff like that, and making sauce. Like this last year was the first year I did fresh herbs instead of dried herbs,
Oh,
and oh, it made such a difference. So now I'm like in this new phase of I want to grow herbs like you and your arrow garden, and that's my next venture. I keep looking at it in the box store, you know, and I'm like telling my husband like, oh, look at this. And this looks kind of fun, huh? He's just like, oh, I don't know about you. And I'm just like, I know, me neither, but it's going to be good. You
yes,
know, 'cause,
yes.
you
Well,
know,
I hope it comes out for you. I think you will get that arrow garden. It's coming. It's coming. But even if you don't do the arrow gardening, what you're doing at home there with the mint, growing it
mm-hmm,
in the soil, that's good too. Also, and using the windowsill to
mm-hmm,
grow them on the windowsill, because they say that herbs grow very well on the windowsill. They don't need require as much light. They
right.
can last. I think they need more the warmth more than anything else. To be
Yeah, you know,
indoors.
and I have a wide open area
Hmm.
in my house here, and
Hmm.
so I have a lot of light coming in from the south, and I mean, it streams in, and it's just so amazing to me because the things that I grow just love the light, you
Oh, of
know.
course,
And
yes.
so they just all of a sudden start leaning, and I end up having to turn them all the time so that they get the to stay standing straight up because they'll start leaning. And every once in a while, I'll even blow on them to mimic the wind so that they
Good.
sturdy up too, so that they're not weak when the time
Mm.
does come to plant them in the ground. You know,
Yes,
and
yes, yes.
it's just it's so fascinating. It really truly is to be able to grow your own food and then
Hmm.
put it on preserve it and then put it on the table for your family. It's a real delight.
Yeah, yeah.
You
I
know.
I haven't really gotten into the preserving. To me, I feel a little intimidated by that, but I believe that I'm going to need the rest of the tools for the canning. And but then I don't think my family will eat the canning. They prefer it either fresh or
Mhm.
like the pumpkins. They will eat the pumpkins. And my husband, he loves the butternut squash. That goes first in my yard.
Mhm.
The butternut squash goes first, then the pumpkins, and then some of the other things. What I want to grow this year is garlic. I started my garlic, and also onions.
Mhm.
Because I think the fresh onions too adds so much taste to the meals as well. Yeah, and so
Mhm.
experimenting with the herbs, with the fruits, the vegetables, and everything together just really helps the whole meal to be complete. I remembered when I grew cantaloupe, because and the
Mhm.
cantaloupe seeds are easy to save and to start the cantaloupe plants.
Mhm.
When it finally grew, and I had it, it was small, but I had it. It was such a different taste. It almost
Yep.
tasted like I mean, the flavor was so rich, and
Mm.
that's something that I find to be very true with fresh fruits and vegetables like that, grown right from your kitchen, your garden.
Mhm.
Excuse me. You can just walk right out to the kitchen garden area
Yep.
and pick your fresh tomatoes, your cantaloupe,
Mhm.
your watermelons, whatever else that you're growing, your herbs,
Right.
and bring them in and eat them in a couple of hours afterwards, instead of having it sit in the stores. They say
Mhm.
here in Boston that we're the last stop in the
Hmm.
train tracks. So, you know, our food travels from California all the way through the country. And then the end of the train tracks is down at Haymarket down in Boston. And
Hmm.
my uncle, he used to take us down when I was a little girl, take us down to Haymarket, and there we would see all of the stands with the fruits and the vegetables and so forth. But even though it was there, it looked so worn out. Many times I would say, Uncle, you really want to buy that? It looks so worn out. It looks, this. I'm thinking of the grapes. I didn't even want to eat
Hmm.
them because even and then the vegetables were inexpensive, of course, because they were trying to get rid of them. But to
Hmm.
be able to grow our own food and to taste the richness of food is just such a benefit. It's such a wonderful, wonderful thing.
Well,
So,
and I have a family of 8 in our family, so we go
mhm,
through quite a bit of food, and it's
mhm.
expensive to go out to eat nowadays. So, if
Oh
we can
yes.
try to make it so we can have something at home to eat and to save money, we can put the money towards other things that we might want to do or enjoy doing,
Hmm.
whether it's, taking a trip and going to the lake or whatever, because we live not even a half mile to the closest lake, and so the kids can go swimming and
Hmm.
skiing and tubing and all these different activities on the lake. And so it's kind of a nice thing, as you work hard in the garden, you can have the retreats of going to the lake and going doing some fun things.
Hmm.
And with having a large family comes to having a large garden so that you can feed the family. And
Yes.
we like I said, it works really, really well because I've kind of gotten it down almost now to a science of, okay, I know how to orchestrate this all and get
Hmm.
everybody in their right path and make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And and we
Hmm.
go, like I said, we actually now almost prefer the homemade stuff versus any of the store stuff, because it's like you can't even compare the two, like
No.
a pasta sauce or anything.
Hmm.
It looks different, it tastes different,
Hmm.
and it's like, yep, that was God. He gave us this blessing,
Hmm.
and we're going to enjoy it. Even like I like to make homemade noodles, pasta,
Oh,
and it's
really?
it's such a joy knowing that, hey, this is from our chickens or
Hmm.
our garden that we were able to put this meal together. And
Hmm.
thank God for this talent. Just
Ooh,
go and
so.
somebody else could get it,
Hmm.
but we're
Yeah.
blessed. We truly are.
Yes, you are truly
You
blessed
know.
to have the fresh eggs. I think that I would have loved that. But here in the city, we can't really have the chickens and so forth, in the backyard.
Hmm.
But that is a wonderful blessing. That definitely is a wonderful blessing.
Yeah.
Yes. So let me just check the chat here to see what they're saying because I've ignored them completely.
I'm sorry.
No, you do put them in a jar of water and let them sit. Okay, said Darlene. Oh no, that was Yankee Sister. Thanks, Thelma. Darlene says, rinse real well, then put them on a paper towel to dry. You have to ferment the gel covering. The seeds fermenting is the process. Okay. That's Yankee Sister. Yankee Sister, you're gonna have to do some videos on this for us. I don't know how she could keep those pumpkins for years. I have one sitting on the counter calling my name. Oh, that's good. So blessed. That's good. Is it in a small cherry tomato? I don't know. They fermented without vinegar.
Yep, you don't need vinegar when you ferment tomato seeds. Just
Oh,
straight water.
yeah, yeah. Happy to be here. Uh, so blessed says, happy to be here, Catherine. So happy to have you here with us too. And let's see, gardens are me. I don't use any pesticides or fertilizers in my garden either, says Bev. Gardens are me. That's good. Yeah, gardens are me. Bev has a fantastic garden. I can't wait to see it. But the many things that she grows in her garden, she has a lot of
Mhm.
information. Same here, gardens are me, so Yankee sister. Uh, uh, Yankee Sisters as well. You and Catherine need to rub off on me for the zucchini. All you need is a good sunny corner spot, and those zucchinis will help themselves. The zucchini bread, yes.
Mhm.
That's a good thing to make as well. I so on Saturday, if you want to see some of the homegrown food that I made, that I cooked, it's called Cook With Me, and it's Garden Review 2023. And there I showed some of the process. I couldn't do, otherwise it would have been a very, very long video or movie premiere. But I showed making zucchini fritters or zucchini pancakes, which are really good.
Mhm.
Use making a salad using the kale and the collard greens, and
Mhm.
what else? Making a pumpkin pie, a little bit of that. But there was quite a few, and I was surprised at how many different things that I had cooked and had videoed. So I said, let me put it all together and give you all a quick review of that. And there are so many more recipes. I also made tea. We wanted to make an herbal garden, which we did, and I took a lot of the herbs that I planted in my garden to make tea. And what in the West Indies we call that bush tea, and it's actually
Mm.
really refreshing. Like if you feel sick in your stomach or anything like that, to use lemon balm and use some
Mm.
mint and add some of the others. I like to even add basil to the tea and cooking the fresh bush versus drying the leaves, uh, the dried tea leaves. But I find the fresh leaves are just so much more tasty. And we
Mm.
just boil it in a pot and add some honey to it and drink it down. And even though it's the summertime, the tea is still very refreshing. You know, it just feels good. You don't feel overheated by it, even though you're drinking tea in the summer.
Mhm.
Um, but it depends on when. Of course, you could always add ice to it and make the iced tea. But
Mhm.
it is good for the body as well. It's good. Teas are really good for your health.
Yeah, I
Drinking
don't drink
mint.
a lot of coffee, so
Yeah,
tea is my go-to. My favorite is actually chai tea. I'm a big fan
yeah.
of chai. You know, I put a
Mhm.
splash of milk in there with a little bit of honey, and oh, you can't beat that. You know, that's kind of like I said, my favorite hot drink if I have to have one. You know, like I said, I don't do much for coffee. I can have a cup, but it'll take me all day long and even the next day to even drink it. So I just like, nope, I'll stick with tea.
Well,
You
good for
know.
you, Francesca, because I love my coffee and I'm trying so hard to I'm trying so hard. I I took 2 days where I had no coffee. I went on decided that I'm not
Mhm.
going to drink coffee. And I actually made it to 2.5 days without the coffee. And I spent a lot of time in bed. It was like it took a while for me to just to adapt.
Yeah.
But it was fine because I needed the rest anyway. So it gave my mind, my body, and everything else a rest from the coffee. But let's see who else is here. Hello, Psalm 146, Home and Garden. How are you? Psalm 146. Okay. How exciting Gardens of Me. Yes, that's amazing, says So Blessed. Gardens of Me says, yes, I previously owned chickens, but a fox, wait a minute, but a fox got to be master. Oh no. You know, that's amazing because now a lot of predatory animals are coming into the city area. The people are seeing
Hmm.
foxes and things like that in that area. Well, we're going to be winding down. I see that you're ready to go to sleep there, Francesca.
No, no, no. I'm good. It's 5:15, and like I said, it's still light out here, and
Oh, oh,
you know,
you're just taking it
I'm
all in?
enjoying this.
You're just
Yes,
taking it all
yes.
in? Okay. You were so excited.
Oh,
Uh,
well, like I said, these tomato plants just got me excited. I really I couldn't believe it when they started poking through. I'm like, green is like my new favorite color, everybody. Forget purple.
that's
Oh
good.
man. Hmm.
Um, let's see. Psalm 146, Home and Garden says, uh, good God's glorious evening, everyone. Listening in the background. Okay. Missed your premiere last weekend. Yes, you did, Thelma, but that's fine. Um, you can, I put it in a playlist. Oh, hello, Brooke. Vintage Garden, New Jersey is with us. Vintage gardener. Brooke has been busy planting her seeds and doing her thing. So that's a wonderful thing. Yes, and so there was something I was going to. You
Yeah.
love green. Could you show? Oh, what I wanted to do is have those who just come on now that everybody's come on here and they didn't see it earlier. Show them your plants and just
Okay,
be
you'll
free
have to
with
walk
them.
with me and talk with me as I go over there because that's
Okay,
where they
no
are.
problem.
You know, if that's all right. Oh, walk.
No, that's fine. Just
There we
go.
are. And
Hmm.
then there's a few there of my tomatoes. And let's see if I can find them. It's always kind of a fun thing. It's like searching for where's Waldo, except it's where's the tomatoes.
Uh-huh.
And then I got two more there. And then I have, obviously, like I didn't show these, but I have more that are starting, some flowers that I got to get my husband to help me pollinate because, like I said, he's my pollinator, you know. But
Uh-huh.
they're indeterminate. They just keep going. So, and
Hmm.
I just keep loving on them.
Yes.
They have a grow light on them, for the second I wake up at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning till I go to bed at 9. So
Hmm.
they're, they're, they stay doing very well.
Hmm.
I just can't wait to, like I said, reap the harvest when they're red. There's some that are cherry tomatoes, them Tiny Tims, I believe they are. And then
Hmm.
there's also, I have, like I said, some Amish paste and
Hmm.
yeah, it's, it's really, really fun, you
Yes.
know.
And then you said that you with the ones that are in between the
The,
leaves that are in
the
between
suckers.
the suckers. Yeah.
Yes.
What are you
Yep, I
going to
gotta
do with the
take them now.
suckers?
Yep, I gotta take them and cut them off and then dip them in root accelerator and put them in some water till I start seeing roots. And then
Hmm.
I can put them in the dirt as well. So
Hmm.
yeah, I, I'm gonna have tomatoes, hopefully a lot. I mean, I normally do about 50 quarts of pasta sauce a year. In which it
Hmm.
seems like it's a lot, but I go through a lot. So one jar is a meal, whether it's
Yeah.
spaghetti or lasagna or pizza, and so it seems like a lot, but it doesn't amount to much in my mind because I got a big pantry and I envision one day that I'm going to have that so full that I'm going to be wondering, what do I do with all this? But as of right now, I'm like, I know what I can do. I got six hungry children, and my husband's going to be home, and I'm going to have to feed him too. So, you
Hmm.
know, it works
Hmm.
out great. And
Yeah,
hearing
that's
them jars
good.
seal and everything like that, it's music to my ears.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
that's really good
I
that you
don't
have
can a
all
lot
of
of
that.
things. I do a lot more freezing than I do canning, just because it's so much easier for me.
Hmm.
But the biggest thing I can is, like I said, is my pasta sauce, and then I do just some odds and ends and things like that. But green beans and sweet corn and things like that, I freeze all that.
Hmm.
So.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that you told us. So see, you have a full vision, and that's what
Mhm.
we're talking about today, is having a vision of what you want to plant, why you want to plant it, and how it's going to look. And because you have these tomatoes in your house, it's already excited you. You're already excited. You're motivated. So now,
Mhm.
for you to be intentional about your gardening, you're going to be able to do that. So then you are able to get your notebook or whatever.
Mhm.
You might not have my book, but you may have a notebook that you can then map out and
Yep.
start to draw. Well, what do
Right.
you want where? If you want to change things up, maybe something didn't grow well in one particular part of the garden, but then it
Mhm.
needed more light, so now you know to switch it to that side. Or
Yeah.
maybe like what you were trying to do with the zucchini, you moved
Yeah.
them to another area, but you now see that they can grow in all multiple different places. So maybe you plant
Hmm.
everything over there and say that other spot for something else.
Right.
But now is the time to think about where you want to plant and what you want, what your garden, what you want your garden to look like. I was looking at this. This person had this design of their garden and utilizing as much of the space as possible in the garden. She said instead of just planting three tomato plants in a little square and that's it, she says, why don't you design your garden by putting on the outside of it your flowers and your herbs, and then
Hmm.
placing some tomatoes there, and then your lettuce, because the lettuce is going to need some shade after a while because it's too much sun, and then you could put your pole beans in the middle. So thinking
Hmm.
of creative ways of utilizing all of the space that you have, and also allowing your garden to be mixed. Before we used to plant everything in rows or certain parts. You might want to keep doing that too. But the time, just thinking about how you can get the most bang for your buck in the land of space that you have,
Right.
because you have a lot of space, but some of us don't have as much space as you do. You have a couple of acres or so, and
Yeah.
whereas I have a plot, which is a lot for
Yeah.
me. I'm satisfied, I'm happy, but sometimes it feels like it's not enough because you can have so many seedlings. With those pumpkins, I had
Hmm.
all those seeds. I planted them and I had all these seedlings and I felt bad at throwing them away. I said, no, I got to plant them and let them just ramble throughout the yard. And they definitely produced for me a whole lot of pumpkins. I still have pumpkins, you know, that will last me probably right into spring.
Yeah.
Summertime, I'll have pumpkins. I think some of them might even seed themselves, just start to
Hmm.
ferment themselves.
Yeah.
But
Well, I
yeah,
wouldn't
so
be surprised if when I cut one of these open, if the pumpkin seeds are starting to sprout. I just,
well,
they, if they do, great. If they don't, that's fine too. But either way, it's gonna, like I said, provide a meal for our families. So, you
yes,
know.
yes. So we're gonna wrap it up soon, but I wanted to show you all the Arrow Garden, how it is doing, and let me just bring it a little closer here. I don't know the light. I won't put on the light, but I wanted you to see. Remember when you all were with me with Yankee Sister? Do you see Yankee Sister, Thelma? Here is my dill.
That is going crazy. That looks beautiful.
Yes.
I bet it
Here's
smells
the
really
dill.
tasty too.
Yes. And then here is the thyme. I don't know if you could see that. The thyme. Let me see. Can you see that?
Yep.
And then I have mint here. And I'm happy about the basil too. The basil. This is a basil. Thai basil
Hmm.
growing right there. And these two pods did not grow. I don't know. This one was another basil and parsley. So what I did was I had some more seeds. I had some thyme seeds and I had some oregano seeds. And I just threw the little seeds in
Ugh.
here and they're sprouting.
Oh, for fun.
They're sprouting. So I'm going to have a full garden here. And it is good. My family, they've noticed it. They've seen it. And it tells me here at the bottom, wait, uh, this like the lights here come on. This one is to put it on the light, so I can put it on and off. And this tells me if I need water and start to blink. And then it will tell me if it needs fertilizer. That's
Hmm.
the only thing with this is that you have to provide it with fertilizer. They have
Mm.
the Miracle Grow fertilizer. Um, but I'm sure that you probably could use other types of fertilizer. Thelma might be able to tell us about that a little bit more. But yeah, this is my first time trying this, and it's going to be. I just love the process. It just causes one to feel so excited. I understand how you feel, Francesca, because I feel excited about my stuff here too.
Well, like I said, when I even moved the zucchini, I sat there and I said, I can't just let it die. I
I
have to
know.
just try to at least give it the best of life I can, whatever it means. And if it's going to grow, great. If it don't, that's fine too. But I gave it that TLC, and well, yeah, I guess that's all it needed over here.
Yeah.
And we live in a lot of sand. I mean, there's sand everywhere. So I was surprised to even get anything out of it. But, I've been very, very, great with the fertilizer and stuff like that for my animals. And that's really huge, is using my own things.
Yes, I like that, and I like that the fact that you use your own what is available.
Hmm.
Sometimes we think that we need a whole lot of other things, but
Yeah.
we as people we can become more creative, like using those plastic containers, those extra things that you
Hmm.
have that you would have other wise thrown away to repurpose them. That is really a good thing. Let me take
Yeah.
these last comments and then we are going to wrap it up. Where's my son?
I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to come into the chat now.
Okay.
So, is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Okay.
All right.
Yep. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. So, yeah, let me just take your love the coming what? I can't see. Oh, the canning thing. Yeah, and Brampton. Hi Brampton. How are you? Tiny Tim's Bijar. Wait a moment. Tumbling Tom, Canary, and Orange Hat. Okay. How are you doing, Brampton? How's everything going? Yankee Sister Home says, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Amazing. Garden Zermy says, nice job, Miss Catherine. Thank you. Thank you. I love peeping into the sponge and seeing them germinate. Me too, Thelma. That's what I happened to look to see if it was germinating. And it caused such a smile on my face. It just gave me a lot of joy. And that's what it is today. Uh, find things that give you joy because there's so much going on in the world. And especially when people start talking to me about politics, it just causes such a tension. I find myself tensing up. And so I just need the garden and just growing the vegetables and things like this here. It just helps to cause or helps me to relax, and it will help you to relax as well. And to know that with all of the pain and suffering that you hear about and all of the other things that are going on in the world, that you can grow something, you can make something positive happen, and it will fill you with joy. um Psalms 146 Home and Garden says, so that's what was growing out there. There were a few dill that I hadn't remembered what I planted last summer. Gotta love mystery plants. Oh, all right. Volunteers, they call them volunteers. Yes. And the garden is so generous. It will give you volunteers. If you plant it, it will seed itself. Darling says, where did you guys get the Tiny Tim seeds? I don't know. I don't know, Darlene. Yankee Sister says, mystery plants are welcoming plants. Yes, they are, Thelma. Gardensby says, love me some mystery surprise plants in the garden. Me too, me too. Um, Darling Brown, I bought mine from Callie Kim's years ago. I saved my seeds. Oh, thanks, Francesca. Francesca, thank you kindly all for your encouraging words. Yes, Francesca, we do appreciate you. We thank you so much for sharing your excitement and your joy of your tomato plants, and just growing in this, just growing your family with such great, wonderful food and so forth. Um, Yankee Sister says, "You did a bang out job, my dear. You're just a natural." Brampton Gardens says, "So nice to see you." Yes. Francesca says, "I got them at a box store." Brampton Gardens says, "Darlene, send me an email and I can send you some." Oh, that's nice. Yes, Brampton Gardener. Yeah. And Psalms 146 Home and Garden says, "I've gotten Tiny Tim seeds from a company called Survival Garden Seeds. I believe Baker Creek may also have them. But we can get some from Brampton Gardner. At least Darlene can." Oh, so thank you so much. And that is something that we can do also, is to share our bounty and share our joy. And so I hope that this has excited you to get going and to start continuing to plan your garden. As I said, I sent out 2 emails on this process of this growing series, uh, getting your garden growing and planning for February. So I hope that you will take a look at it, hit on it, you know, when go through your Gmail, your emails, and when you see Catherine, open it up and take a look at it and read it, and it will give you some tips, some information to get you started on planning. I know that many of you all here are experts and have been gardening before, but for the new gardeners or those who just want to refresh, check out the email. And if you have not subscribed to Catherine's Garden and Home, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell for more videos. I've been doing garden premieres, garden reviews for 2023, so that you can see what I did last year and we can get some inspiration from that. And it also gives me a chance to be in the chat with you and to look at my garden myself and to comment on what I saw, as well as have you comment and ask me questions about it. So the last premiere will be on Saturday, and that is a cook with me. It's going to be a cook with me review of the foods that I've grown in my garden and those that I attempted to utilize in cooking and sharing that process with you. For example, zucchini fritters. I made a pumpkin pies. You'll see me cooking meals for us to eat, lunch and dinner, and things that I've done with my pumpkins as well. So come and join me on Saturday at 8 p.m. And hit the notification bell so that you will be able to know when it starts. It's going to be 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday. Is the last one. And I also have it in a playlist. So if you go to the email, you'll be able to hit that, and it'll take you directly to the playlist. So if you missed the other 5 um, videos or garden reviews for 2023, you can watch it there and just get a cup of tea for an hour. You can sit and watch me garden, and enjoy the flowers and the process. And it's just really good to see from spring to December, from spring all the way through to the winter time, how my garden evolved for 2023. All right, so I think that's it. And Sonia tells me it's time to wrap this up. Wrap it up as we grow together in Catherine's Garden and Home. That's right. Grow together. Grow together. Grow, grow together in Catherine's Garden and Home. Oh, yes, the Catherine's Garden and Home. Hit that like button, Catherine's Garden and Home, so more people can come to Catherine's Garden and Home and come together with us at Catherine's Garden and Home. Oh, yes. Grow, 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 grow together. Brooke, grow, 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 grow together. Thelma, grow, 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 grow together. Rachel, grow. Yeah, yeah, Thelma, grow. Yes, and who else? Deborah and everyone. Grow, grow. Guardians Army, we're gonna grow together. Yes, we will. Oh, yes. Sonia, we're growing together. Grow, 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 grow. Thank you, Psalms 146 Home and Garden, for joining us here. And if you want to see me make my pumpkin pie, come and join me as I puree those pumpkins as we grow, 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 grow together. Grow, 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 grow together. Grow, 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 grow together. In Catherine's Garden and Home. That's right. Catherine's Garden and Home. Uh-huh. In Catherine's Garden and Home. Yes, Mama grows. Monica and Auntie Ellen get well soon. We miss you. And God bless all of you. And may you have sweet dreams tonight as you think of your garden. That's right. As we grow, grow. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Grow, grow together. And Catherine's Garden and Francesca, thank you and be blessed. Oh, yes. Woo! Oh, this was fantastic. I am so excited. I hope that you were inspired to keep on growing and having a wonderful evening, everybody. And see you next time right here at Catherine's Garden and Home. Stay blessed and enjoy your evening. You too, Sonia. Thank you for moderating and covering and helping me in this process of coming together here at Catherine's Garden and Home. Have a good night, everybody. Bye. 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 See you all in the morning. Peace and blessings. Blessings to you all. Bye.